Okay, so they want us to sketch the graph of this right here. Well, how do we do that? Well, graphing, again, I'm going to refer you to the notes. Let's go back to those. There it is, graphing a line. So I've put this on the exam 2 notes for you. Exam 2 notes right at the top, again, of the Unit 2 module. Pop them in here for you. Here it is. Okay, so graphing a line, what do you do? Step 1, get y alone. Ours already is alone. Step 2, graph the first point on the axis system on the y-axis up or down the number at the very back called the y-intercept. All right, so let's go to it. So let me bring it over here for us. So y equals minus 3, 4, 6 minus 2. So step one is get y alone. It already is. In our case, it's already done. So if it wasn't, you would have to do that. Let me write that down. Get y alone. So that's step number 1. We did it already. Step 2, start here. This is step number 2. Graph a point, first point. Basically, we just need 2 dots, right? To graph this line, we just need 2 dots. So graph the first point, which is down 2 in the middle. So the number at the back tells you where the first point is. It's right here. It's right in the middle, down 2. That's the first one. That's step 2. So step 1, get y alone, which it already was alone for us. We skipped step 1. Step 2, grab that number at the back. That's your first point. And it's always right in the middle. It's called the y-intercept because it intersects the y-axis, right? This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. See how this point right here is on, this is on the y-axis. Your straight line will go through the y-axis right at that point. It's the y-intercept point. All right, and then step 3, the slope equals rise over run. Let me see what I did on this example. Yeah, graph the second point by going from the first point, rise over run, to the slope, rise over run. So I'm going to grab this. Basically, let's grab this. This is the slope right here. So -3/4. Take the negative sign and put it on the top. And then that'll be your rise, which is going to be down, and your run. So notice what we did there. Put the negative on the top. Now, really, you could put it on the top or the bottom, because I don't know if you remember, but for a fraction, having a negative on the top or having a negative on the bottom or having a negative in the front, it's all the same thing. One negative sign just means the fraction's negative, whether it's on the top, the bottom, or the front, whatever, it's all the same thing. But I'm saying it'll be easier for you just to put it on the top. That'll just make life easier for you. So let's just put it on the top. So therefore, from this dot here, we're going to go down 3 and over 4. Right there's our second dot. Does that make sense? Let me show it. So I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 3. Because it's negative. You rise -3 and then over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. There's our second dot. Over 4. You run 4. Yeah, you run sideways, like we run on the ground sideways, right? So there we go. Rise -3, run 4. Go down 3, over 4. There's your second dot. Connect the 2 dots. You get yourself a line. So I'm going to do that. So let me see.
And then I had a question.
Yes.
Could you always multiply it by the denominator and then just kind of like cross multiply and solve it and then get that second point, or would that be adding too many steps to it?
Say that again. How would you get the
So
second
like,
point?
so how it's -3/4, just multiply it times 4 since it's at the that's their common denominator, then just cross multiply that and solve it out, and then you still get the same point.
Let me see here. I'll do that. So you're saying multiply through by 4. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and you know your x is 4, and then you're just looking for your y.
Okay. Okay. There's a difference between multiplying through by 4 and saying x is 4.
Right. So x is 4.
Okay. So you're not saying multiply through by 4. You're saying
No.
plug in 4
Yes,
for
x is 4. Yeah.
Where'd you come up with x being 4?
It was just like putting. So at first, what I do is I plug in 0 to find my first point, and then I plug in. So let's say it's like 3/4. So I'll plug in a 4 for x. Or if it was 3/2, I'd plug in 2 for the x.
Right. So you're saying whatever's in the denominator, just plug that in for x.
Plug that in for x, right?
Right. That's a nice technique, Carlos, and that will work well for you. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So Carlos's idea is he said, look, just make an xy values basically. Plug in 0 for x, and that'll give you the -2, because this will just go away right when you plug in 0, like he said. And then redo it again, Carlos is saying. And the second time, plug in 4 for x. That'll work nicely because this is 4/1. These will cross cancel, and you'll have -3 minus 2, which is -5. So that's what we plug in for x. We plugged in 4 for x, and we got out a y value of -5. So that'll be another point, which in fact is this point, if you notice, over 4 down 5. That is the point over 4 down 5, isn't it? Right from here, over 4 down 5, which is what Carlos is saying. He's right. Yeah, so that's another good way. I like it. That's another good way. So just plug in 0 for x, and then plug in whatever they have under the bar, because that'll neatly cancel it out, and you won't have to deal with fractions. Very nice. Either way will work great. So the way I was proposing is good too. Get y alone. Whatever's at the back, that's going to be your first point. Right in the middle, that is. It's a y-intercept, right in the middle. So down 2, right in the middle. And then from there, just do rise over run with your slope. The negative, put it on the top. Rise -3 and run +4. And you'll get the second dot, then connect the 2 dots. Either way will work great.